आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। धर्मात्मा सत्यसन्धश्च रामो दाशरथिर्यदि पौरुषे च प्रतिद्वन्द्वः शरैनं जहि रावणम्. All right. So after a very long discussion on various attributes of Sri Rama, we have come to the part where we are going to discuss two significant attributes today. And it's just that we are increasing the tempo, increasing the number of attributes that we usually discuss in one session. But today, both of them are sort of interconnected. Both of them determine the higher purpose that Rama had, or uh, what was the grand scheme of what did the grand scheme of things look like? That also has to be taken into consideration. So the one important thing that we need to keep in mind is the basis for the next two attributes are yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So that is a guarantee, assurance given by Krishna Paramatma. And it is not only meant for that particular yuga, it is meant for all the yugas. Whatever the type of avatara Bhagavan might take, all types of Bhagavad avatars have got this signature uddesham, signature purpose. That is tadatmanam sajamyam. When, if the question is when will we be able to see the end of all the atrocities that we witness, the answer for that is given by Paramatma, that when the dharma gets severely hit and adharma is on the rise, that's when Paramatma avirbhava will happen. And immediately after that, he said, what will be the uddesham, what will be the ultimate purpose of any Bhagavad avatar? Paritranaya sadhunam, and then vinashaya dushkritam, and dharma samsthapanarthaya. So these are the three elements, Srijamyam, isn't it? Sambhavami yuge yuge. Yuge yuge sambhavami. He has very clearly mentioned that it is not just about a matter of one yuga, but it is a matter of every single yuga. In all the yugas, this is the ultimate motive, ulterior motive that Paramatma delivers. Sadhu paritranam and dushta shikshanam, dharma samsthapan. Now, uh, I guess we have previously seen all these elements as well in Rama. Now, this comes kind of a cumulative score kind of thing, or it all culminates into one attribute, or rather, I should say, two attributes that describe Rama or that establish Rama as a Bhagavad Avatar. Beyond our doubt, it establishes Rama as a Bhagavad Avatar. Should we consider Rama? Should we, from the beginning, consider Rama as an Avatara Purusha? And if we start considering Rama as an Avatara Purusha, what would be our perspective? What would be our takeaway? And how will we approach Ramayana, or how will we approach Rama as a character itself? See, there are two ways of looking at it. There is nothing wrong in considering Rama as an avatar. He should be considered as an avatar Purusha. That avataratvam, or the descendants of the Paramatma Shakti in the form of Rama, should be there in our hearts. But when it comes to our mind, when it comes to our intellect, when it comes to our buddhi, he should be considered as Dasharatha Putra, Dasharatha Nandan. The reason is the mind can hook up some theories. And one of such theories is that because he is Avatara Purusha, he is beyond our reach. So we need not follow any of the things that Bhagavad Avatara Purusha has done. He's an Avatara Purusha, therefore he can do such kind of miracles. Now, to lead a life of dharma is nothing short of miracle, you see. Can be a theory, sounds very, very authentic, isn't it? And it's so convincing that we also may nod our head saying that, yeah, you are right. It appears in the format of appraisal of Rama, almost as if we are praising Rama, that it is only possible to live a life of dharma, lead a life of dharma to that perfection by an Avatara Purusha. Since Rama is an Avatara Purusha, he was able to do it. If this is the conclusion that they are going to end, hunky dory. But that is not where the conclusion ends, you see. In the immediate next line, the subsequent conclusion is I need not follow dharma because I am not an Avatara Purusha. That is where the conclusion usually ends. The very reason for claiming that, claiming the fact that Rama is an Avatara Purusha is so that we can find, uh, an exit way, an exit ticket from dharma. We must be aware of that because it's very easy to get into this trap, I tell you. They are talking about so many incidents from Ramayana, so many circumstances that Rama had to go through. And how did Rama manage all these things? And when we take a look at this, we may come up with an idea. We may come up with some sort of an image that this is possible only for an Avatara Purusha, an Avatara Purusha alone. And none of us are Avatara Purushas. Hence, these attributes are outdated for us. Automatically, we would have lost the relevance of all the attributes that we have spoken thus far. Keeping all these things in mind, when we say that Bhagavan Rama or Rama, when he is elevated to the level of Bhagavan, why is he called as Bhagavan? Is because he has got the six major attributes. Anybody who deserves to be called as Bhagavan should have six major attributes. Okay. Sannam Bhaga iti Rana. Bhaga means there are six. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, yashasaha shriyah, jnanavairagyayoschaiva, Shannam Bhaga iti Rana. So, Aishwarya. Okay. That is Ishvara Bhava. Aishwarya doesn't mean wealth, basically. So we have misunderstood the meaning of the word Aishwarya. For us, Aishwarya means wealth. Aishwarya does not mean wealth. Aishwarya means Ishvara Bhava, the commandership. And then Yashas. Yashas is a forever state. And we have never achieved, we have never attained that forever state. Even if we are happy, we are not forever happy. If we are sad, we are not forever sad. So there is no feeling, no emotion, no state, no phase of our life that has attained that foreverness. So we are far away from forever. But he who is always closer to forever is called as yashas. That is exactly what yashas means. That which never gets old, that which is always afresh. And then Atma Shrihi. Shrihi refers to Atma Shrihi. Okay. And Jnana and Vairagya, they are self-explanatory. They don't require any sort of explanation. And Bala, strength, the power to create something, destroy something, and modify something. All of these three, if they are put together, that is called as Balam. And he who contains all these three things is alone capable to be called as Bhagavan. So, in this sense, if we observe, is Rama Bhagavan? Definitely he is. His yashas is son given to this day, right? And he is the commander. He did command and he showed what kind of command he has. Whether it was the Vanaras that he led them to the war, or how he managed when Vibhishana broke down after Ravana's demise, how he uplifted the spirits of the Vanaras when they are fighting, and how he led Bharata, a human being, how he helped the rishis in Dandakaranya. So, in every aspect, Rama has established himself as a commander, but people would look up to him. So that is sorted. Yashas is absolutely sorted. Strength, we have seen. He did something that was unthinkable, that which never had been done previously. Building a bridge over the ocean and crossing the ocean barefooted, that was unheard of. And he did that. That shows the ability to create something that is chirasthai. And then jnana and vairagya. We are going to discuss about the jnana part today and also the vairagya. There is a beautiful incident of Rama's vairagya people usually have this wrong notion about Vairagya, that Vairagya is only meant for the sannyasis or those who want to renounce everything. For Grihasthas, Vairagya is not at all needed. That is generally the perceived idea about all these things, isn't it? But we see that Rama, despite being a Grihastha, in spite he being given a gateway to move away from his palace. Okay, so he displayed the highest quality of Vairagya. He displayed greatest quality of Vairagya in that time when anybody would have wanted to hold on to when anybody would have wanted to hold on to their chair. And we see people nowadays, how do they want to hold on to their chair? So that brings us to the point that what is Vairagya, which I guess Meghanaji also has asked this question. Brilliant question. We need to understand what Vairagya definitely is and how we should understand Vairagya. More than understanding, how are we going to inculcate Vairagya in our day-to-day life? See, that is more important. Inculcation of Vairagya in our day-to-day life. So one might even question the very uh, motive behind inculcating Vairagya in our day-to-day life. We all remember that one shloka which we used to chant before taking food, isn't it? It's a very popular shloka. Annapurne, Sadapurne, Shankara Pranavallabhe, Bhikshandehi cha Parvati. Right? So for what purpose are we seeking the bhiksha? I know. I purposefully hid the third pada. The third pada is Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. It is so integrated into our system that each and every time we take a look at the food that we are going to consume, that food is meant for only the higher purpose, that is Jnana and Vairagya. And for attaining that Atma Jnanam, whatever Vairagya is needed, what sort of Vairagya is needed for attaining that Atma Jnanam is the sort of Vairagya that we seek from the very food that we consume. Because if we don't consume the food in that spirit, then what is going to happen is that it is not at all going to make any sense. Therefore, it becomes very important for us to understand what exactly is the meaning of the word Vairagya. See, raga means attachment or being there, okay? Involvement, investment. When we get invested into something, that is called as raga. And how does this raga begin? It's very, very easy to get into the mode of raga or the level of raga, phase of raga. So it all starts with contemplation. We start contemplating on a small thing. And dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayat. And it leads us towards an acquaintanceship. We start contemplating on something. We saw something and then we started contemplating on it. And then we start kind of developing an acquaintanceship with it. So maybe in this era, this example might not sound feasible because an algorithm does this for us. And we all have been subjected to such an algorithm's methods. You click on something while browsing, and for the next 1 week, every social media will stop sending you that particular subject related to that particular subject, right? So that is called as acquaintanceship. That is called as sangha. That is called as raga. And the idea is you don't want to kind of destroy just because you have developed an acquaintanceship with something. You don't mean to destroy that, or you don't mean to run away from that. So what we do is we know that these things exist, but we kind of refrain ourselves from getting too much attached with it. So that ability is called as Vairagya. And how do we inculcate that ability? Vairagya is basically the distancing from the raga. It is not running away, because running away is called as cowardice. It is being covered. Running away is not an option. So being there, but distancing ourselves. Just like, 4 years ago, we all practiced social distancing once again. It's just exactly that social distancing that we need to practice with everything and anything. It's very simple, that the smallest of small things can turn into an attachment. And once that attachment gets stronger, it becomes difficult to get ourselves away from it. Therefore, we have to kind of start practicing that distancing. So I hope you understood what exactly vairagya means. Vairagya is distancing oneself from the attachment or from getting attached to something. But how do we do this? Do we have any frame of reference? We do have plenty of frame of reference. Uh, Let us take an example from the family. Okay. So there is always going to be a person in the family who is, who is not very jovial with us, who is not very, uh, engaging with us. But we do keep on uh, meeting them. We do keep on bumping into them in every family function. Just because that person is there, you don't run away from the function. You also attend the function, isn't it? It's not that you skip that function. But when you attend that function, you try to, initially, you will try to avoid that person. But then you realize that it is impossible to avoid that person. So what will you do is you will stay there because you know that it is inevitable now. So once it becomes the presence of that person is inevitable. So immediately what you will do is how will we strategize is that we don't care about their presence anymore. Isn't it? We all have practiced this. We practice this at home. We practice this at office. We practice this at public spaces. So it's not like we don't have any framework or any idea about vairagya in motion or vairagya in action. We do have. We have kind of detached ourselves from that, isn't it? So many co-workers are there. Their opinion doesn't matter to us. Their appearance, their existence doesn't matter to us. But it's not like you don't acknowledge them. You do acknowledge them, but you don't get attached with them. That is basically vairagya. But when we try to do the same thing, when we try to enhance this, multiply this tenfold and inculcate that into life, that's where the problem arises. Because there it was easy. How do you develop that kind of detachment from a coworker, basically? A person with whom you work, you don't like that person anymore, but they are an integral part of the team. So you can't do much about it. You have to do your bit. You have to do your job. You do your job, but you distance yourself from that person's existence. That person's existence does not matter to you at all, isn't it? Even though you acknowledge their presence in the team, you kind of remain completely detached from them. So it means that it is possible. It is absolutely possible to remain in that viraga bhav, distancing from attachment part is quite possible. Let us take a little deeper. If we dig one more layer, we will realize that how come we have come to that conclusion about that person. We have observed that person from day one of us joining the office. So from day one, I have observed, or we have observed, that they have the same problem. Nai bala donku kind of thing. Kutte ki pooch jaisi. So a dog's tail. Their behavior, their personality is like a dog's tail because you can't change it. And you have observed it and you have made peace with it. This is the popular terminology that is used, making peace with it. So when we say making peace with it, what do we mean? It means that we are 100% sure that they have this error ingrained in them. They are error prone. No, because we have observed this error over and again in our life for a very long period of time related to that person, we have kind of distanced ourselves from getting attached to that person. Isn't it? Now, I hope you can relate with it. So, what enabled us to distance? from a certain person, our ability to observe the error on a regular basis, right? Now you bring that notion and you put it into life. If we can observe what all dosha exists, what all errors exist in samsara on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it will eventually lead us towards vairagya. We will not even desire samsara anymore. Why are we still desirous of so many things? We are desirous of so many things because we haven't seen what sort of error, what sort of dosha these things possess, right? Because these things possess so much of dosha, uh, we are unaware of it. The moment we start keenly observing the dosha that emerges, the dosha that emits in each and every activity, and all of a sudden we will become uh, kind of distanced from the very desire of that thing. Welcome to the world of Vairagya. That's how simple Vairagya is to explain, only to explain. But to practice is a very difficult thing. It requires a different set of skill to practice this. So, because consistently and constantly we need to keep observing the error, the dosha in all these things. In the samsara, we have to observe the dosha in all these things. Only then you will be able to achieve this vairagya. One small instance from Rama's life where he displays that high level of vairagya is when everybody around him seemed to express only one fact. And what was that fact? The fact was that you should fight for your rights. The throne of Ayodhya rightfully belongs to you. Who all did not say this? Lakshmana said this, Kausalya said this, Vasishtha said this, Bharata, Shatrughna. Was there anybody who told Rama otherwise? Nobody told Rama otherwise. And each one of them said the same thing to Rama, that you should go ahead for what is rightfully yours, right? And at that time, what is the quality that he displayed? What sort of quality did Rama display during that incident? He displayed that highest quality of vairagya. People don't, estimate this. People don't scale up that incident as vairagya. The only reason why it is not famous as vairagya is because Rama was a grihastha at that point of time. That is how we have perceived at all times. Rama was a grihastha, Rama was a warrior, Rama was young. So does it mean that he cannot have vairagya? Just because he's a kshatriya, he cannot have vairagya? Vairagya doesn't mean that a kshatriya should stop fighting. That's not the idea. You see, this was the wrong notion that Arjuna had developed. He thought that it is better to go away from everything. And we have thought that we have also belonged to the same ideology. We have subscribed to the same thought that running away from everything is vairagya. But that is not true. To do what is right is the highest level of vairagya. And in order to pursue dharma, in order to follow dharma, vairagya is essential. Why do you think in every bite, uh, I hate this word bite, there is no other word for taking that in Kannada we call it as tuttu, For every tuttu, there is no word in English for that. I have to say bite for that. We don't bite our food. I mean that you bite a pizza, you bite meat. Sorry, no offense, but uh, you consume food, you take food, you eat food. There are so many better expressions when it comes to food. And uh, when we do that, with what purpose should we be doing? Why are we taking or why are we consuming the food? We are consuming the food so that we shall become capable enough to follow dharma, isn't it? So if we have to follow dharma, what is more essential? Vairagya is essential. You saw how Rama did that. Another brilliant example is when maybe morsel of food, but it still doesn't, pack that punch. or in Sanskrit, we call it as Kabade Kabade Govinda Smaran. Such a beautiful idea that gets expressed when we say that in with each Kabalam, every time we are kind of swallowing food, we should remember Govinda. That's such a beautiful idea that gets described. Anyway, so another incident where Rama displays highest level of Vairagya is, I think we have discussed this previously as well, but with a different perspective. Bharata and all the people from Ayodhya, including the likes of Vasishtha, Jabali, so many great sages, so many Brahmajnanis, so many rishis, they all approached Rama. They all presented their arguments in front of Rama. How are you going to disregard the argument presented by a Brahmajnani like Vasishtha when a Brahmajnani, who also happens to be your Kulapurohita, says that you can come back. You must come back to Ayodhya and you have to decline it, not with arrogance, decline with a substantial evidence. That is what dharma is. That is where Vairagya plays an important role. If Rama had even an iota of attachment towards the throne, you know how the story would have turned out. I don't even have to explain. And each and every time we read Ramayana, each and every time we go through the story of Ramayana, we fail to kind of highlight Rama's Vairagya in all these instances. We must highlight Rama's Vairagya because that's a rare quality to possess. Rama did. Okay. Now, this will enable Rama to be called as Bhagavan because Shannam Bhagaiti Rana. So Rama, even in that way, Rama qualifies to be called as Bhagavan. But that's not the Bhagavatvam is not the attribute that we are discussing today. Whether we consider Rama as a Bhagavan or we consider him as Dasharatha Putra with these many attributes, a perfect man or an Avatara Purusha, however you want to consider, what uh, defines a man is the next attribute that we are going to take up. The attribute is Atmavan. Valmiki doesn't even mince his words. He is right on the money. All these attributes are fine, but you have to tell me if he is an Atmajnani or not. When it comes to writing Kavya, okay, I'm kind of afraid to use this line because people will misuse this line to glorify a human being. Okay. And we have such instances in history where they have used such kind of profound thoughts to describe a person just to get some brownie points, basically. That's all, nothing else. However, I trust your people and I'll put it across you. They say that there is no difference between a Kavi and a Rishi. Okay. Now, please don't make all the Kavis assemble. So, they are not all Rishis. He who knows how to put words together is not called as a Kavi. Then who is Kavi? Krantadarshitvam Kavitvam. He should be a Krantadarshi. Kranta means crossed, beyond. He who has the ability to see beyond. Obviously, if I finish the statement like this, the next question will rise, isn't it? Beyond what? The ability to see beyond what? The ability to see beyond what meets our Panchendriyas. So, whatever can be perceived with Jnanendriyas, if that part is going to be described, then I am sorry, they are not called as Kavi. So that's the hidden essence of Kavitva. Oh, they have described the flower so beautifully. No, just by describing a flower beautifully, putting some flowery words, putting some romanticizing words, will not qualify anybody as a Kavi. Then what qualifies somebody as a Kavi? When they can fathom, when they can hold, when they can download and withhold the thing that is beyond our senses. Indriyani paranyahu, indriyebhyah param manah. Indriyas are at the first level, and beyond Indriyas is our mind. The things that come to our mind should be described. Will he be called as a kavi? No, no, hold on a second. Because manasastu para buddhi. So there is something beyond mind. There is something called as intellect. Okay, so if he describes everything that is intellectual, will we be calling him as a kavi? No. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. So there is something beyond buddhi as well. That which is beyond buddhi is Ishvara. And from that Ishvara, if someone can bring the essence of that Aishwaryam, if someone can bring that Ishvara Bhava through Swara, then he shall be called as a Kavi. No, that's how the Ishvara to Swara part gets convincingly set up for a Kavi as well. Because if a Kavi is not bringing the Ishvara Bhava in the Swaras that he uses, because Swaras are inevitable for a Kavi, isn't it? Without using vowels, can anybody use the language? Any language for that matter of fact. It's impossible, especially Sanskrita. It is impossible. It doesn't make any sense. You can't utter a single word without using swara. They are matrikas, they are devatas, isn't it? So now you see how important it is for someone to describe and how exactly this art of description begins. He who describes as a kavi is a level one kind of definition of kavi. And as we rise above, we will realize what exactly a Kavi is. This is the reason why the Upanishads called Brahma as Kavi. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram. Even Bhagavad Gita says this. Kavi is nothing but that Parabrahma. Or that Brahma is called as the creator, is called as Kavi. The reason is because he can see beyond what meets our sense organs. So for such a Kavi, all these things are vital. Only that sort of a Kavi can ask this question. If I and you were there in the place of Valmiki, we would have asked some other irrelevant questions. Is he kind? Is he compassionate? Is he loving? Is he caring? Is he not a racist? Is he not a chauvinist? And these are the kind of questions that bother us. And we would have ended up asking only such questions. Does he have a good bank balance? Does he take vacations? Something like this. It's a very simple thing you ask young people. That is where minds get framed, minds get shaped. You go and ask any young person, uh, what is the ideal person that you are searching for? See, what all attributes that we have, it can be described in Sita as well. 100% Hubahu, Xerox, not Xerox, a carbon copy of it, a photocopy of it. You can see, you can witness all these qualities in Sita as well. My question is, the youngsters, when they are in their formative years, they will be in search of a partner. It's a very common thing. They are always in search of a partner. And if you go and ask them that what is it that you are looking for in a person, you will be surprised to get the answers. I mean, I am now beyond the surprise level. I am annoyed now. I'm not surprised anymore. I'm annoyed because the kind of answers you get just shows that they have exposed their flanks. They have no idea whatsoever what are they going to do with their life. They have zero clue about their life. He should take care of. What do you mean by care? They don't use the word hita. He should be my hitakar. No, no. They don't know the concept of hita. So for them, taking care is when you are sick, he should stand by you. I'm not belittling all those things, by the way. Huh? I'm not at all belittling them. But I'm just saying that our vision has kind of, uh, gotten very uh, mediocre. And we have kind of put a full stop where we should have elevated, where we should have built a bridge, where we should have taken a ladder. We have cut the ladder and we have said that this is where we are going to settle down. What is the highest thing that one should be looking for in another person? Take a look at what Valmiki is seeking in a man, in a person. He's seeking whether he is an Atmavan or not. That Atmavatvam should be there. That Atmajnanam should be there. He should know what he is. If he doesn't know what he is, how else is he going to ensure that what all things does it need for a society, for a country, for a nation to function in order to ensure that each and every person of that country enjoys the enjoys the privileges. And why are such privileges important? Those privileges are important so that everybody can understand who they are. Everybody can get to know what they truly are. That is the ultimate purpose, not anything else. And if we just quickly go through the last sarga of Yuddha Kanda, which is also called as, the Pattabhisheka Sarga. So after that Pattabhisheka Sarga, what exactly happens is Valmiki says that Rama ruled, isn't it? Rama ruled for Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Yudhani cha, Ramo Rajyam Upasitva. So this is how he describes Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha, Bhratrabhis Sahita Shriman, Ramo Rajyam Akarayat. How were the Prajas? What was it like to be in Rama Rajyam? What is it like to be in the kingdom of a king who is an Atmavan? People keep talking, shouting, boasting about Ramarajyam, no? They have no clue what Ramarajyam is. They think that freedom is what Ramarajyam is, peace is what Ramarajyam is. But peace where? Where should be that Shanti? It should be here, no? In every individual, there should be Shanti. If every individual is Ashanta, if every individual is not accomplished, the accomplishment of each and every individual is kind of calculated only with Atmagunam, only with Atmajnanam. Nothing else can be used for determining the accomplishment of a person. We may have certificates, we may have degrees, we may have doctorates. If we are not Atmavan, it is of absolutely no use. All right. I think that that gives us the importance that it describes the importance of what this Atmavatva means. I just want to draw your attention towards some of the shlokas of how exactly Ramarajyam was. Sarve Lakshana Sampannaha, Sarve Dharma Parayanaha, and Asan Praja Dharma Paraha Rame Shasati Na Anritaha. There was nobody who spoke lie, and each and every one were Dharma Paraha. They were all involved in their Swadharma. So, isn't this the whole idea of Ramarajyam, where each and everybody is following their particular dharma? Swakarmasu pravartante. That swakarma pravritti is what is needed. All right. So I will not take much time describing all these things, but Ramo Rama iti prajanam abhavan kathaha. So all these things describe what exactly Ramarajyam is all about. If he is an anatmajna, he cannot possibly be ruling the kingdom. He cannot be a king. Now you must be wondering that I'm just going here and there. No, no. The reason why I gave the example of a poet, of a kavi, is they say that in order to become a kavi, he has to be a rishi. There is no difference between a rishi and kavi. There is this famous line by Bhattodbhata, the guru of Abhinavaguptapada, where he says that na anrishih kurute kavyam. Yaha anrishihi. Anrishihi means he who is not a rishi cannot possibly write a kavyam. Those were simpler times. Bhattodbhata did not know that by training you can become a poet. Okay. Workshops happen on poetry writing workshop. Oh my God. You train people to write poetry. Fabulous, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I'm not belittling it. But we must understand that in order to enhance ourselves, there's a long path that we are taking. You may get initiated into it, you may get a taste of it. That doesn't mean that you have accomplished a great thing. It's just exactly like that reality shows, singing reality shows. 8-year-olds getting into singing reality shows, getting appraisals from accomplished people or so called accomplished people. And then if they stop at that point and think that I've been called as the next MS Subbulakshmi, okay, you will remain as the next MS Subbulakshmi. You will never become the Subbulakshmi, no? You will never become that phenomenon. In order to become that phenomenon, there is a long path that one has to walk, and it's a lifelong process. So similarly, it is a lifelong process of becoming a Kavi. It is a lifelong process of becoming a Rishi. It is a lifelong process of becoming an Atmavan. It's not like in this year I became an Atmavan, but later on I've experienced what it means to be an Atmavan. Now I've given up everything. Some people will come up with this kind of theory. Yeah. During conversations, they will say that until 27, 28, I was also religious, but then I became spiritual. Neither do they have any idea about what religious means, nor do they have any idea of what spirituality means. They just are fancy people who know how to speak. We should not get trapped into these kind of things. So similarly, here as well, it's a lifelong process. That is why he mentions that. And if it is a lifelong process, what does it highlight? It highlights immense discipline in that person. If you are not disciplined, you cannot remain an Atmajnani for a long time. So when Valmiki asked that question, Atmavan, he essentially meant that he you may not have the exact description of Rama being in Samadhi. Therefore, we cannot call him as an Atmajnani. Right? Argument one. He has not explicitly talked about Atmajnanam anywhere in the conversations that we find in Ramayana. Therefore, Rama is not an Atmajnani. If these are the evidences, if these are the arguments that we are going to use in order to arrive at a conclusion like this, I'm sorry, because we have not looking or we are not observing properly. Now we need to observe what all qualities do great people display or Atmajnanis display. This is the homework for the next uh, remaining weeks because there is going to be a lot of oh, all of a sudden God saved me. Okay. For the next long break that we are getting, this is the homework. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's question, Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, samadhisthasya keshava, sthitadhih kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. Right? You remember that scenario? If you don't, you read about it. It's a beautiful question and answer. The conversation that happens between Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna posed this question, who is a Sthita Prajna? How does a Sthita Prajna enact? What sort of qualities do a Sthita Prajna display? Krishna has described it. He has given the answer. Okay. I want you to go and read Bhagavad Gita of this portion, second chapter, last portion of second chapter, where Arjuna asked this question to Krishna. Read that, contemplate it, kind of comprehend it, and then make a list of all the points as Krishna mentions as part of the answer for the question. Who is a Sthita Prajna? What all characteristics does Krishna mention as part of the definition of a Sthita Prajna? You make a list. And then you try and find out a suitable episode from Ramayana that suits the bill, that fits Rama. And I guarantee you that you will find sufficient amount of examples, episodes from the story of Ramayana that will fit the bill. So if we establish if we take examples from Ramayana and make a list of it, what is it going to establish? It is going to establish the fact that Rama was a sthita prajna. If Rama was a sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. Samadhistha means he who has remained in samadhi. Right? That is the meaning of the word samadhistha. So if we prove all the qualities fit with Rama, automatically we will also infer, automatically it proves the fact that Rama is an Atmajnani. He is a Samadhistha. Different languages, that's all. Samadhistha and Atmajnani are not different from one another. They are one and the same. Okay. This is an elaborate question. You will have plenty to work. Oh, I'm so glad that I came up with that question. Oh, okay. We are sorted with the question. Now, so the each and every for me, when Valmiki asked that question, Atmavan kaha Atmavan, there is not one particular incident which we can take up from Ramayana and say that this incident establishes Rama's Atmavatvam. No, the entire Ramayana is an example for that. You have to quote each and every incident of Ramayana to prove that Rama is an Atmajnani. Only time where we hear the word Atma and Rama together is Atma Rama Ananda Rama. I'm thinking that bhajan. Then we forget. We forget that he is Atma Ram. Or, there is no other way to kind of reflect upon the fact that Rama is the greatest example for an Atmajnani. I'm not saying that there are no other examples for Atmajnanis, that we should not go and look at other Atmajnanis. You definitely can. But you do please add this, Rama to that list, and anyone else be
I was
described.
just
Oh, yeah.
typing. Can anyone else in
Oh, in
Ramayana?
Ramayana? Oh, yes, definitely. Vasishtha is an Atmajnani. Vishwamitra is an Atmajnani. Agastya is an Atmajnani. Uh,
What
Bharadwaja.
about
Bharadwaja
Sita?
comes.
What about Sita?
Yeah, she
Or
definitely is.
because they say she had to undergo this to get her Atmagyan. Is that correct?
Oh, no, 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 not at all. See, she was Prakritya Shuddha. When I say Prakritya Shuddha, we all have some sort of karma associated with us when we come through a mother's womb. She did not come through anybody's womb. That goes on to show how pure she was. I mean, we should stop using the word pure. We should start using the word Sita. Sita can be an adverb. Sita can be an adjective to describe something that is pure. As pure as a child's heart. No, no. As Sita as
Hmm.
you can use that because she is a personification of purity, right? And if that purity is there, it means that there should be that Atmajnanam. Otherwise, you will not see uh, the kind of patience that she displays. There is in one of the conversations in Sundarakanda, while talking to Hanuman, she mentions that killing Ravana is not a big deal for me. In a fraction of a second, I can kill him, but that's not what is intended. See, because she is an Atmajnani, she has the entire vision. She knows. So that because she is a Atmajnana means Sarvajnatva. They will be Sarvajna. They know how exactly the grand scheme of things work. They both display uh, sufficient amount of evidences they give through their actions that they were Atmajnanis. Sita doesn't cry when uh, when she was sent away, or when Kaikeyi asks her to remove all the ornaments, or when Kaikeyi kind of defames her in front of everybody to change the royal clothes and get into the Vanaprastha attire. She did cry. She did not cry for the fact that your stepmother is asking me to do all these things. Is this why my father got me married to you? That's not the kind of conversation that Sita initiated, or that's not why Sita was upset or sad or cried. She cried because I'm unable, because I don't know how to wear this sari. That was her concern. So that goes on to show how much of Vairagya, the level of Vairagya that both Rama and Sita display. Oh, is fabulous. See, I'll tell you one of the saddest things. Uh, it really is astonishing that many people still uh, do possess this kind of a thought. During uh, a marriage, okay, during a wedding ceremony, somebody started, in Vivaha Mangalashtakam, Sita Raghavayoh Vivaha Samaye Yan Asit Sulagna Savadhana Tan Mangalam Bhavatu, etc. etc. So they give the example of the Dampathyam of Sita and Rama. And I was there, and some gentleman, uh, an intellectual person, they kind of argued that this must not be said. Why are you wishing such vicious things upon newlywed? That you want their Dampathyam to be like Sita and Rama? They were separated for so long. They underwent so much of misery. Is that what you are looking when you see Rama and Sita? Or what should we be looking? Ananya Raghavenaham Bhaskarena Prabhayatha. Nobody can separate the rays from the sun. They are, kind of anyonyam. You can't separate them. That is the example Sita gives. Like how the rays of sun are inseparable from the sun, I am inseparable from Rama. Isn't that the highest order of Dampathyam? And it depends on what we see, what we observe when we talk about Sita Rama as a couple as well. So if they are not Atma, see, two Anatmagnyas can make a wonderful pair for the entertainment of the world. And we have innumerable examples of that in the world. Sorry, sorry, extremely sorry for making such a joke. But an Atmajnani and Anatmajna can never make a good pair. But two Atmajnanis, that's a rare thing. Why do you think Vasishtha and Arundhati, or that Arundhati Nakshatram and all? They show, no, in the Vivaha, they show Arundhati Nakshatram, Vasishtha Arundhati Darshanam. He is one of the Saptarshis. She is a Brahmajnani, she is a Brahmavadini, Arundhati. They are setting the example so high, they are setting the bar so high that this is your bar. This is what you must be trying to emulate. You must be trying to achieve, accomplish. That may your dampatyam be like Arundhati and Vasishtha. In Punyaha Vachanam, if you keenly observe the mantras that they chant, you know, they say several things. Vani Hiranyagarbhabhyan Namaha, Shachi Purandarabhyan Namaha. Purandara means Indra. Shachi is Indra's wife. No, Shachi Purandara, Swaha Vishwanara, Arundhati Vasishtha, Sita Rama, Lakshmi Narayana, Uma Maheshwara. Greatest examples of a couple. They have never seen, and can we rule any one of them out? No. When we say Uma Maheshwara, Parameshwara was a great Atmajnani. We have heard so many stories about Shiva being always in Samadhi. Parvati, not so much. Nobody says that because they are equal. They're always in that Samadhi. So Sita too highlights that Atmajnanam in every inch that they have spoken, that they have walked. These few things are beautiful when they are told in a direct sense, and they are said in an mm, uh, there are anvaya, okay. Abhidha. There are three ways of words being manifested or words being told. The first one is called as abhidha, direct speech. Then comes lakshana, where you have to work a little bit in order to get to the meaning. And then comes Vyanjana, where it not only you have to work for it, work for the meaning, but when you get there, it also ensures that you find that bliss. There is a wow factor involved. There is like, wow, maza aa gaya. That feel is there when you listen to that. That is called as Vyanjana Vritti. Okay. So, the whole of Ramayana, why do you think it is called as Adikavyam? Because the Atmavatvam, that is, Ramayana is an incarnate of Veda. The Veda's conclusion is called as Vedanta. The ultimate purpose of Vedanta is Atmajnanam. Join the dots now. So if Veda's conclusion is in Atmajnanam, if Vedas are going to conclude in Upanishads and Brahmajnanam or Atmajnanam, and if Ramayana is an incarnate of Veda, Veda Prachetasadasit Sakshat Ramayana Atmana, then don't you think Ramayana should also possess that Atmajnana? That essence of Atmajnanam should be there in Ramayana as well. Where is it? As explicitly as it is told in the Upanishads, Ramayana does not reveal it in that explicit manner. However, it hides it. It is the entire Ramayana is is a Vyanjana Vritti, is like speaking in Vyanjana Vritti. And it leads us towards that Atmajnanam, that Paramananda or Brahmananda kind of thing. Therefore, this strong question that Valmiki asks, Atmavan Kaha, who is that Atmajnani? That was Ram. So, for that matter of fact, that's why I said that one example, one incident is never going to be sufficient to establish Rama was an Atmavan. His entire life, the entire Ramayanam, Ramasya Ayanam, the whole of Ramayanam is a testimony to the fact that Rama is an Atmajnani. All right. So I think we can conclude it. It was very easy for me, from a speaker's perspective. It's very easy because I don't have to come up with any specific incident now. Everything that Rama did displayed his Atmajnana, and we should be feeling very blessed that we still have that original source with us. We still have the story of Rama in front of us, and of course that is by the divine grace. And we do understand that when a proper rishi writes a kavya, when a proper rishi brings a kavya, it will remain chirasthai. It will be forever. Yavat sthasyanti girayah saritascha mahitale avad ramayana katha tvatkrita pracharishyati. Brahma, while speaking to Valmiki, says this. Yavat sthasyanti girayah, as long as the mountains are there, as long as the mountains stand tall on this earth, as long as the rivers flow on this earth, the Ramayana Katha that you are going to write shall remain. You can't get a better certification than this for any kavya. Some kavyas remain valid, valuable only until they get Sahitya Academy Puraskar. Sorry. It remains only valid until there. And then it loses its charm. It kind of becomes irrelevant. But not with Ramayana. Ramayana was not even awarded with any famous awards, isn't it? Valmiki was not conferred with Bharata Ratna. But that doesn't mean that his work is not valued. So Rishi Tulya, one has to raise to that level. So that is the whole point of joining in this venture of Ishvara to Swara. At least that's how I see Ishvara to Swara. The journey of Ishvara to Swara, especially with so many different forms of arts coming together, so many forms of classical arts, folklore, that that is coming together, and all that is happening in Devalaya, right? And that for me is the essence of all these things, because each and everything has its own unique way of delivering things. Each and every art form connects to that Ishvara, because it is nothing but the extension of Ishvara in the form of a certain Swara. Just because we use the word Swara, it doesn't mean that it is applicable only for Sangeeta. It's a very narrowed description, or a narrowed vision of Ishvara to Swara. All that is there is an enhancement of Ishvara. Because it is an enhancement, because it is an extension of Ishvara, you hold on to it and it will slowly get you back to Ishvara. It is that simple. One life, one art is sufficient to get to that Ishvara Bhava. But it need not be a multi-talent kind of thing. So, you see, why are we discussing each and every attribute in detail? That at least one of these attributes will strike a chord with us in this process. Oh, should we do this much of effort for that? Yes, of course. You never know. You never shy away from putting the effort. It may work for one person, it may not work for anybody on some occasions. That shouldn't stop us from putting our effort. Always drive it towards Atmajnanam. If you're not driving it towards Ishvara, what is the whole point of Ishwararpana Buddhi then? We talk about Ishwararpana Buddhi, Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu, Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Only in Vak we are saying Ishwararpana or Krishnarpana, and not in action. If our activities have to become Ishwararpana, then there should be a certain tune to it. It should be fine tuned. Our activities should be fine tuned. It should have a particular swara, a rhythm that will lead us towards Ishwararpana. That's when Ishvara to Swara will be established. I have always told Ishvara to Swara for me is a two-way lane. It is not a one-way road. It works both ways. Because when that event is going to happen, you will hear plenty of things being expressed from Ishvara to Swara part. But the whole of Ramayana exercise is that building up towards that event. When we hear all those expressions of Ishvara to Swara, we should also be remembering that if I hold on to this Swara, it is essentially going to lead me towards that Ishvara. That should be the confidence. Otherwise, what is the point of making it to Ishvara to Swara? Isn't it? So that's my view of Ishvara to Swara. And anybody who comes to a Devalaya, for that matter of fact, they come to Devalaya to connect with that idol, to connect with that Devata, and that through the and what are the ways of connecting to Devata? It could be the Gandha, it could be the Dhupa, it could be Deepa, it could be architecture, it could be Chitrakala, it could be Ghantanada, it could be Shankhanada, it could be Mantra, it could be Abhisheka. Everything and anything that you see in Bharatiya Devalayas, they are nothing but an extension of Ishvara. They are the different swaras. Hold on to one swara is sufficient. It will lead you back to Ishvara. It's like, opening a buffet. Ishvara to Swara is like opening a buffet. Entering a Devalaya is like entering into a buffet. I know people, like, traditionalists will shoot me for saying all these things. You are comparing Parama Pavitram Devalayam to buffet. But you have the options in buffet, no? Similarly, when you enter Devalaya, so many options are there. And in a buffet, you select only the things that you like, only the things that you feel, that makes you feel happy, that gives you a bliss. If somebody doesn't like paneer, even if there are 10 varieties of paneer, they are not going to eat paneer. They are going to go for the thing that makes them happy. Just like that. Why Ishvara to Swara? So that I can pick on one Swara that can strike the chord with me. In Vyakarana, they say that Ekashabdaha Sushtu Jnataha Samyak Prayuktaha Swarge Loke Kamadhug Bhavati. All it takes is one word or one Shabda to be known correctly and to be used correctly, and it will lead us towards Swarga. So, similarly, all it takes is one Swara. Ekaswaraha Samyak Jnataha Sushtu Prayuktaha Swarge Loke Kamadhug Bhavati. I'm saying all these things because it's all on record. I'm so happy that I'm putting all these things on record. Because that's the whole idea of Ishvara to Swara is how I see it. Okay, all right. So I think we can conclude it here today. You have been fabulous for the first half of Ishvara to Swara, the Ramayana edition. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience, sometimes in pratyaksha form, sometimes in paroksha form. Uh, Nevertheless, you have always been there. You have always listened. And uh, any speaker would only want people to listen, that's all. You listen to the words, that is sufficient, and nothing else. Whether you make notes or not, whether you understood that or not, that's okay. The words, the time will take care of all those things. But you keenly sit and listen. That is the greatest service that you can do to this sort of things. So I serve by speaking, you serve by listening. That's all. We are both serving Ishvara. We are not serving each other. We may feel that we are serving each other. We are not serving anybody. We are serving Ishvara. This is my way of serving Ishvara. To speak, to listen to Ishvara is your way of serving. Ishvara Arpanam, you see, Ishvara to Swara. That is how Ishvara Arpanam happens. So we will conclude it here. The first half of Ishvara to Swara Ramayana edition is going to be concluded here today. But we will again start off in a month's time, or maybe a couple of months, in the month of October. After all the festivities are over, we will join again. And during the festivities, Dashahara is coming. So if you are in the northern part of India, this Dasara is celebrated very in a very high spirit, that the return of Rama after defeating Ravana, all these things. So may that spirit of Rama remain throughout uh, the various festivities. Even though Ramanavami is still afar, it doesn't mean that you cannot remember these attributes of Rama in every walk of life that we take. So wishing you all the success, and see you all again, hopefully in larger numbers, after we resume in the month of October. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Please, can you just phrase the
The
question and put it in the
question,
group
yeah. I'll
so
do
that
it on the group
everybody
itself.
comes to know and they
Yeah,
know that
yeah.
we have given homework.
There is some homework is coming up. Yeah, so so this is the work that should eventually lead us to our home. Any
Yes.
work is a homework. If we know that if that work is going to lead us towards our home, that is Ishvara. So, all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
comment
Namaste.
and I'll do it.
Namaste.